Hello all sentient beings and welcome to Transmissions Alt Mode, where we talk about all news, comics, and media related to the... On this episode of Transmissions Alt Mode, we review Transformers 26. A new interview with IDW's Transformers Beast Wars writer Erik Burnham goes up, and Iacon Online continues to list new guests and new panels. Today is Friday, January 22nd, 2021, and this is episode 217 of Transmissions Alt Mode.
Welcome to Transmissions Alt Mode, the podcast that wonders, during this time of global pandemic, aren't we all sending robotic surrogates out into the real world so we can stay home and play Fortnite? I'm your host Charles, aka Big C, and I'm joined by the excellent Transmissions team. Jeremy, aka Yakko.
Hey, how's it going?
The amazing and awesome producer and editor Mike.
I was going to make a joke based on that intro, but it was so long that I forgot about it.
And Daryl, the Cybertronian Beast.
More proof that Charles is yet a robot. Let's talk Transformers.
Daryl wrote that intro. Just I'll mention that.
And you read it like a robot.
I did not. I had emotion and feeling and emphasis. I had turned on my emotion chip. Anyway.
Double check your chip.
As always, we start off the show by thanking our Donatreons, those lovely people who give us money on Patreon and PayPal and help keep the show going. So thank you guys for all your support. We really appreciate it. If you'd like to become a Donatreon, just go to transmissionspodcast.com/support. You can also help out the show by buying some merchandise from our TeePublic store, and that's at transmissionspodcast.com/shop. You can also check out our friend K-Girl's store at tpublic.com/user/superstark. We've got lots of shirts and masks and other merchandise. And if you buy anything from TeePublic through our link, transmissionspodcast.com/shop, we get a little bonus from TeePublic, and that helps the show out a little bit. So you don't even have to, buy anything from us. Just buy anything from TeePublic.
Well, we got some cool shit. I mean,
we do.
Buy from us.
Yes. Show off your Transmissions pride with a shirt. All right. This week we had Empire of Rust episode 41. What we have here is a failure to separate. And this Monday we will have the uncut extended version coming out exclusively for our Donatreons on our Patreon page. So this will be the uncut version of Empire of Rust episode 41. So check that out Monday, January 25th. Mike, anything you remember from this extended version that could wet the whistle of our listeners?
All I know is I'm still not going to spoil it because I know people are still working on their backlogs, sometimes a 41-issue backlog. But I think by the next time on the show, total spoiler. So be sure that you've listened up to this point by then. Please.
All right.
I like to listen at 75 times speed.
So you're already done.
I was just binging through a podcast this weekend at 1.75x, and when you go from that back to 1x, it really sounds like everyone's drunk.
I mean, I guess if you want me to sound like a chipmunk, I can do it, but, can't please everyone, Daryl.
I want you to please everyone. I want you to please me.
All right, and before we get into the rest of the show, we do have another announcement from Jeremy. We mentioned this in the toy show, but we'll mention it here again. Jeremy, take it away.
Yeah, I am on the third season of a reality show podcast called America's Next Top Podcaster. I am one of 12 contestants, and we are going to be weekly given challenges and we have to make these 10-minute podcasts, and then they're judged by three people. They're longtime podcasters, and I'm kind of terrified, kind of scared about the work I have to put in and the time I don't have to do it. but it's going to be exciting and fun. So yeah, if you want to, you can listen to the latest Yakko Yaks where I talk about all of that in a much more detailed format. So that's at yakko.org, ykk0.org/reality.
Where do they send, where's the Exile Island on this show? Like, where do they send the podcasters when they send them to the Exile Island?
I think they send them to Spotify.
Oh, shit.
I don't know. I think we can just like stick around in the Discord and needle the people that are actually still in it.
Jeremy, you got about 8 hours a day where you're just doing like nonsense stuff like sleeping that you can dedicate to this. So this had better be top quality.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, thankfully, at least for the first little while, they put us in teams. So that'll be fun.
Caffeine and diet pills. That's all you need.
Yeah, I am so excited.
The Transmissions podcast does not endorse caffeine or diet pills.
We endorse caffeine.
Speak for yourself, Mike.
All right, caffeine and diet pills for everyone.
Caffeine and diet pills for some, miniature American flags for others.
Wait, they make diet pills? Why have I never been told about this?
It's okay, Daryl. They don't work.
Oh. Okay. I'll just try eating my way thin again.
All right. Well, that's all our news. So let's get into some comics news. Okay, a couple little items referring to the upcoming Transformers Beast Wars IDW comic. First, we've got a little teaser of a new character, a new Beast Wars character. And this was put up a sneak peek. I think it was put up by Tom Waltz, one of the editors at IDW. So this is a character Scold. And it looks like it's a Predacon. It's a female Predacon, and it turns into is that an armadillo or a mole? I'm not sure. It's some kind of thing. But yeah, curious what this new character is going to be. But it looks cool. And we also got an interview with the writer of Transformers Beast Wars, that is Erik Burnham. And this is at Dynamic Forces, the website Dynamic Forces. They have a nice little interview. And Erik Burnham talks about how this is a reimagining of the original Transformers Beast Wars story. So this is not going to be like a complete, one-for-one retelling of the Beast Wars story from the 90s. It's going to be, he mentions it's Ultimate Beast Wars, I guess. So there's new characters. I just mentioned Scold. There's also a new Maximal called Nyx, who's also a female Maximal. And, the other characters are the other, original cast of characters are there, but there's going to be some things a little bit different. It's not going to be the same story as the 90s Beast Wars animated series, but it'll be the familiar story beats. So I think there's a lot to look forward to. And Erik Burnham mentions how he was actually binging the original Beast Wars cartoon on streaming it, and that's when the David Marriott, the editor, offered him the job of the Beast Wars comic. So. Also, this is going to be art by a friend of the show, Josh Burcham. So we're looking forward to that. We're big fans of Josh. He was one of the first folks to come on the show and do an interview with us. So back when nobody was listening to us. So Josh, we love you. So hopefully we'll get you back on to talk about Beast Wars when this comes out. And the first issue is going to drop next month. So maybe just a couple of weeks from now, so not too long. And we're looking forward to it.
This says February 3rd.
Yeah, February 3rd. Cool. So just a couple of weeks.
Yeah, I like how he described it as basically like the Ultimate Universe in Marvel, where it's going to start off in a similar place, but then it diverges naturally. So I'm looking forward to this.
Yep. All right. Well, let's move on to our comic review.
We are looking at Transformers number 26. This is written by Brian Ruckley, art by Anna Malkova, colors by David Garcia Cruz, letters by Jake M. Wood. The editor is David Mariette, assistant editor is Riley Farmer, and supervising editor is Tom Waltz. There are 3 covers. The first is a wraparound cover with Optimus and Megatron battling, and this is by Freddie E. Williams with Jeremy Caldwell on colors. Cover B has Pyromagna and Jumpstream in a very 80s feeling poster image. This is by Billy Montfort. And Retailer Incentive has Termagax getting blasted in the back by a familiar fusion cannon. And this is by Alex Milne and Josh Perez. So, Daryl, let's start with you. Tell us how much you really like that Retailer Incentive cover.
Well, I told you last week when I showed it off that I bought it. I mean, I like Alex Milne's art. I make no qualms about it. I'm a very biased buyer when it comes to that. If he's got a cover, I'm going to try and buy it. And he makes a really cool freaking cover here. Any kind of like death or dismemberment on here, he's going to really do it up well. And it just looks fantastic. I am really a big fan of this cover, and I'm glad that I was able to get it. Alex Milne can draw Transformers for me any day.
Awesome. Yeah. I just figured I'm not even going to ask you about the other ones. I knew you were going to go for the Alex. I didn't even know there were
other color covers.
Yeah. All right. Mike, which one of these do you like?
I'm actually going with cover A on this one.
Bye, Mike.
Sorry, Darren. And sorry, Alex, too. To be honest, all 3 of these covers are actually really good, but there's something about just the pose, the action, and everything on cover A that is just beautiful.
Yeah, I'm surprised whenever we so rarely get a wraparound cover. I was surprised to see it, especially as a cover A. Charles, which one do you like?
This is hard. Yeah, I mean, these are all really nice covers. I do like cover A and the wraparound cover. It's a little bit not the complete style that I prefer for Optimus Prime and Megatron. So I think Alex Milne's cover edges it out for me with the Termagax getting blasted.
You are no longer my friend, Charles.
Oh, that's sad.
You have a few seconds to go back in time and get and choose the right cover, though.
Well, I guess this is the end of Empire of Rust, because no one's going to be there to post the episodes now, since I'm not your friend anymore. So, oh well.
I'm contractually obligated to say that your choice is as good or equal to or better than mine. It really isn't.
Oh, the joys of contractually obligated friendship. But yeah, I think these are all really nice covers, though. So and also the Billy Montfort cover with Pyromagna and Jumpstream. I think that's a really nice, clean, kind of very very kind of straight line Transformers rendering there. So to go with the Freddie Williams cover is very it's very dynamic, but it's also very bubbly, I guess, not
stylized.
Yeah, very stylized. And then the Alex Milne cover is just Alex's style is pretty awesome, and I like what Josh Perez has done with the colors there too, to make it so the blast effects and everything, and her eyes glowing as she's ripped apart there. So yeah, nothing bad to say about any of these covers, but yeah, I'm gonna go with Alex.
Cool. Well, I agree. They're all three of these are really good. I was unable to get the Alex Milne cover by the time I made it to the store. I think all of these are really good, and like they all have points that would make me want to pick them up. But the Alex Milne one, I think, is just so dynamic, and then the kind of light that Josh Perez gives it just really is cool. Like you got lens flares in there, and I don't know, I just really like that image, so that would be my pick too.
A2, Jeremy?
Yes. There's no contractual issues though. All right, let's get into the story itself. This is Warworld Awakenings. In the past, as the tether is falling, Termagax watches the destruction and curses that she's being dragged back into the world. In the present, Freud is freeing a prisoner. As Pyra Magna exits the stasis chamber, Freud begins to bring her up to speed on current events, such as the death of Sentinel Prime and the emergence of the new Prime, Optimus. Freud also reveals that it was Optimus that wanted her released. Elsewhere, Optimus is addressing his forces. He reveals the Matrix to them and says that he doesn't seek to battle other Cybertronians, but if Megatron and his Decepticons insist on causing destruction and death, he will do whatever it takes to protect people. Outside the Senate building, Megatron is getting reorganized after the successful coup. He orders Stryka to make sure that no one leaves the building and no Energon or other supplies get in. He then focuses on getting control over the infrastructure of Cybertron. And he asks Ratbat about those that control the various functions. Ratbat says that many, like Chromia, are lost causes or heading that way. However, Starscream isn't and is waiting to meet with them. Standing around the gray body of Sentinel Prime, Optimus discusses his recent decisions with Ironhide, especially the release of Pyra Magna. Ironhide notes that many don't like that decision, but Optimus says it's necessary. They need someone of her technical background on their side since Ultra Magnus is missing. At the top of the White Tower prison, Pyra walks into the open air of Freebot. Roadmaster still isn't sure about this decision, but Chromia recalls Pyra's battle in the War of the Threefold Spark and says that they might need that tenacity in the upcoming turmoil. Pyra asks for one thing before they leave. She wants the comm blockers disabled so she can send a one-way transmission. She contacts Jumpstream from her previous team, who then uses her teleportation powers to quickly travel across the planet to join them. Pyra orders Jumpstream to find her other companions as Roadmaster and Chromia look on with worry. On the road to Tarn, Andromeda is heading towards the city. She's investigating a communications blackout in Tarn, but is stopped by a hologram of Soundwave, ordering her to report to Decepticon headquarters. Elsewhere, Crasher is leading a Decepticon patrol, and they're discussing Sixshot taking over as leader of their guard. Nearby, Cyclonus overhears and perks up at hearing the name of Sixshot. In the arena, Megatron is meeting with Starscream, who tries to bargain with the Decepticon leader. Megatron thinks that Starscream's bargaining posture is dubious, and Soundwave blasts Starscream against the wall. Megatron demands Starscream tell him everything he knows. There's no deal to be had. And Starscream spits out Titan Sparks and the Enigma of Combination, but he's cut off as Skytread bursts in the room, letting him know that Termagax is there. On the floor of the arena, Termagax is giving a speech to the Decepticons. She's saying that this isn't what her movement was about. It was meant to change the system from the inside, not by a violent coup. Megatron arrives and tells her that this isn't her Ascenticons, this is his Decepticons. Then he blasts her with his fusion cannon. However, Ratbat notices something isn't right, and he realizes that this was just a drone of some sort and not really Termagax. While in her home, Termagax orders her home to create another drone. And also, she asks her home to start walking away, as they might not want to be here when Megatron looks for revenge. So I thought this was a bunch of interesting scenes that didn't, I don't know if they really kind of stitched together as well as they should have. There was very little action outside of the one scene with Termagax getting blasted, or the drone getting blasted, but I like a lot of the ideas here. I'm hoping this isn't going back to when the series started and it was really slow. Hopefully this is just like a momentary pause before we get into some of the things I was enjoying about the more recent issues. It was still enjoyable for what it was. I particularly enjoyed the Pyromagna bit and the Megatron Starscream bit. Those were probably my favorite parts of the issue. And I thought the art was pretty good throughout the entire thing. I think Anna is getting pretty consistent, and we don't have a lot of the issues we were seeing like early on. And I don't really have any complaints about the art at all this issue. So I think that is my thoughts. Daryl, what were your thoughts?
Well, I thought the issue was interesting enough. Like you said, there's not a lot of action here. I did like the interaction between Megatron and Starscream. I thought it was very Starscreamy, and anytime you get that kind of back and forth between Starscream and Megatron is just really great. I liked seeing Soundwave kind of step in here and be like, take some initiative to just kind of fuck him up a bit. And I that was really good. With regards to Termagax, I thought Termagax was, it's great to see her get back into the game here a bit, because really I just thought it was just going to be something you saw at the beginning of the series and you wouldn't really get much information about, because she was Megatron's mentor, and then you really wouldn't see too much more about her. Now we've gotten a lot more information about her, and she's involved now. And the fact that...
And she has her home moves.
Yes, and I love that.
Sprout legs.
I absolutely
and walk.
love that. When, other than the fact that the Autobots and Decepticons had, base formers, like city bots, and they could move around, essentially you just see them sitting in one spot. You never really gave them the idea or had the idea that, okay, well, the Decepticons found our base. Let's move. Let's go to another spot. So, and they could have, and they should have. And so that's a really great idea that I really kind of enjoyed that they threw in there. I assume that this Termagax base is a full character, that they just kind of just had him transform their legs and move and start walking. But if it's not, no big deal. It's just seems like Termagax has some capabilities to kind of manufacture whatever the hell she wants. So the idea that she could manufacture an entire base that does whatever she needs it to is not out of their whim. I liked seeing Crasher. Anytime a GoBot makes an appearance. Now, although it seems that other than the head, it seems like they're kind of giving Crasher full tilt's body from Trypticon. So, but no big whoop. It's got Crasher's name and pretty close to being her face. So, I'm all in on that. Could be a little bit more black, but whatever. Yeah, I'm happy to see Crasher. This is issue 26, and I am ready to find out what the hell is with these fucking ghosts with Cyclonus. Like, can we figure out what's going on with these things yet? Like I am. There's few things that have me absolutely intrigued with what the hell is going on with this story. Right? Like, I could give two shits about the political aspect about this story. I want to know what's going on with these fucking ghosts. Tell me what's happening with these things.
Hopefully we get that soon.
Right? It's been way too long, right? It's been 2 years. I don't know when these guys first appeared, but it was early.
It was in the first Rebel arc.
Yeah, so early, within the first 5 issues, right?
Yeah.
So, it's been 2 years. Like, let's go. Tell us what's going on with these damn ghosts. And what would be the last thing? Sorry, near the end I was going to talk. Oh, just the art. I think the art. I'm happy with Anna's art. It's definitely good for the book. I think I've made the comment before. Her backgrounds lack detail, especially some of the ones where you're seeing much more larger scenes. A lot of the characters are just darkened, and you get some eyes and stuff like that. Or they're just kind of blurred out where you're not really seeing a whole heck of a lot. So, if the panels are kind of set up that you're really supposed to only pay attention to everybody in the foreground. But if you actually step back and you look at the backgrounds, you'll see that there's really not a lot going on in those backgrounds. Few lines here and there, and a little bit of shading, and some blurring, so to make it look like it's kind of a way in the distance kind of thing. The panels that she does do the backgrounds pretty well. There's something there, but those are not as many as they should be. But I'd like to see more backgrounds detailed in her work. But other than that, her art's progressed phenomenally since she first started on the book. Cool. Oh, and I love the addition of Pyra Magna, because I don't think we've gotten a combiner in this series yet. So
we haven't, and we got a name drop of the Enigma too.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to some combining action too.
Awesome. Yeah, I like the aspect of that, like jump. Was it a jump stream? And apparently the other companions have taken Pyra's color scheme kind of in honor of her, and Pyra is not very happy about that.
Well, my question about Jumpstream, when she calls to him, does he would it be like a Nightcrawler bath? Where he's just kind of
I think so.
It's pop, and just kind of jumping towards her. That's what I kind of
I got the sense that it's like a limited distance teleport.
Gotcha.
So Pyra said, "I'm here," and just pop.
Yeah. Okay, that's what I got too. So right on. But yeah, it's a fine book. Could use some more action, but we're getting there. I feel like we're getting there.
Yeah. Cool. Mike, what did you think about the book?
I'm going to echo a lot of what Daryl said on that one, but I am going to add that I absolutely love Termagax's house. That was a really great moment at the end there where he told the house to stand up, and it started walking away. So that is great. I'm hoping that his house is an actual transformer and it's not just like an automaton or something, or just some like house with legs. But either way, I'm loving to hear that. Another thing that I really enjoyed on it was the kind of like lore we got with the generals. When Prime mentions that Megatron has one of the great generals and he released Pyra Magna because he needs another. So I kind of want to know who these generals are, what happened to them, and where are they now. Stryker being one, that makes perfect sense. It's kind of a callback to Beast Machines, so that's fine, no problems there. Pyra Magna, casting her as like one of the generals of Cybertron is an interesting touch. A little bit of a departure from her last characterization, so it'll be interesting to see what's going on there. And yeah, overall, I thought it was
Ultra Magnus is the other.
You think? So it's just those three?
Yeah. Well, I mean, those are the three we know about.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah, I'm okay with that. But yeah. So looking forward to the rest of it. Yeah, it's a straight solid issue. It kind of feels a little bit like a coda, kind of like the kind of wrap up of a story before the next part. So yeah, I liked it. Oh, and the art was great.
Awesome. Charles, what were your thoughts?
So yeah, I agree that the art was really nice. So this was Anna Malkova. She's I think she's doing a great job now with basically taking over the ongoing art duties. And then we've got I guess it's David Garcia Cruz doing colors, and the colors are really nice. I guess I don't think we mentioned it on the show, but Joanna LaFuente has retired from Transformers at least for a little while. She mentioned that Transformers 25 was her last color work on Transformers. I don't know if that's forever, but at least for the time being, she had a post on Twitter a couple months ago. So I guess moving forward, we'll have different colorists on the books. So yeah, we're gonna miss Joanna LaFuente, but yeah, this I think the art and colors on this one were great. And yeah, I think I agree with what Jeremy said about how this felt like it didn't kind of coalesce into a complete story. It's more like little, 2 or 3 little stories just chopped up and they're all good. Like I enjoyed this book as well, but yeah, I'd like for a single comic to have kind of a through line. And kind of, get a complete story. That's my continual request from IDW Comics, is to try and get comics to be a coherent story on their own. But I do like all the parts of this story. I do like Termagax getting more directly involved, and her house. She reminded me of I don't know if any of you guys are familiar with the Russian witch woman Baba Yaga, but she has a house with chicken legs in stories, and it can get up and walk around and run away, and that's what this reminded me of. She was a character in an old video game I played on the computer back in the late 80s, early 90s. So, but yeah, this was a good story. I liked her. I was glad to see that she did not, just walk right into Megatron's mist and get herself killed. She had the presence of mind to, maybe I should send a drone in and not risk my life. So that. Mm-hmm. That shows why she's one of the smarter bots on Cybertron. And yeah, this definitely had me intrigued to see what happens next. Spoiler alert: the next issue does not continue this story, and it actually shifts to another story completely. So I was unfortunately still waiting for the payoff from this story for the next issue, but I do like where the story is going now. I'm invested in it now and interested to see how things go. I still want more development of Optimus Prime. Like, I think he's a character that is still a bit of a blank slate. I'd like to see more delving more into how and why he becomes a great leader. Whereas with Megatron, we've got a lot of development of Megatron, but we really haven't gotten a lot from Orion Pax / Optimus Prime. So that's what I'm looking for going forward. But this was a good book. I enjoyed it.
Awesome. Yeah. I mean, overall, I think we're all seeing good points in the where the story's headed. So I just hope it doesn't take as long to get there as it did to get from the start to here.
Yeah.
So anyway, that is Transformers number 26.
All right. And I guess this is a really short alt mode because we don't. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Hold on. I spoke too soon. Let me rewind back. I'm not going to end the show before we do. All right. Well, that's our comic review, and we will move on to convention news.
All right, we have just some more updates on Iacon Online, which is happening January 30th and 31st. There's a number of panels that have been announced. Some of these, there's fan fiction, what is it, and how to get started. There's a tournament of voices where it seems like it's going to be a competition. Players perform their interpretation of a character's voice. The Beast Unleashed, which is not about Daryl talking about himself. It is about why Beast Wars was important and why it can be again.
It's not about Daryl. I'm not interested.
The Beast Unleashed should be, your personal podcast, Daryl.
It's a good name.
Yeah. There's another panel here called My Canon Now, Making My Own Continuity, which is a fan's process of making an original continuity. Gaming with Whirl, which is user twitch.tv/whirl_e_bird is going to be streaming and talking about streaming. And they said likely they're going to be streaming Fall of Cybertron. So there's a Build-A-Bot, which is making a Transformers original character during the panel. And then there's a Netflix War for Cybertron panel, which will have Matt Murray, FJ DeSanto, all the voice actors that we had talked about last week, which I didn't write down here. But that's going to be a fun panel. And then there's also, as we mentioned before, a number of other guests that are all going to have their own panels too. They have an art contest here where they have this mascot character they created called VIP. If you check out iacononline.wordpress.com, you can see the rules and stuff. But first prize in this art contest is a Gigawatt figure. Second place is a Netflix Earthrise Bumblebee figure. So that's cool. And a couple more guests announced, as I just mentioned, Matt Murray and FJ DeSanto from War for Cybertron series, and also Jack Lawrence, who artist that I don't know if he's on any of the current stuff. He did some stuff on the My Little Pony book, I believe. That was his most recent, but he did Lost Light, and I'm sure he'll have a great panel too. So that is everything that we have that I was able to find for Icon Online.
All right. And that takes us to the end of the show. Of course, before we end, we always give a shout out to our Masterpiece Donatrions, and that is John 4X Levengood and Dinobot Maximize. Thank you guys for continuing to support the show. We really appreciate it. And we will give you guys a shout out. Keep giving you guys a shout out every episode. And Mike, before we go, where do you want people to find your stuff online?
All the usual places. You can find me on Twitter or Instagram at Minervion. That's Minervion, where I will publish Transformers toy photographs that I do, which I love doing. It's always fun. And of course, you can find Empire of Rust on all the usual places and all the podcast feeds that you enjoy. And please come and talk to us on our Empire Rust Discord channel here on Transmissions. We love talking with all of you, interacting with you, and we've got a nice growing community with people who are already posting fan art on all the neat stuff that's happening in episodes. So come join us.
All right, and that will do it for this episode of Transmissions Alt Mode. Thanks everyone for listening, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, all.
Later.
Hey everyone, thanks for listening to this episode of Transmissions. But just because this episode is over doesn't mean the Transformers fun has to stop. Join us and other Transformers fans on our Discord chat server by visiting transmissionspodcast.com/discord. If you would like to learn more about how you could support the Transmissions Podcast, just visit transmissionspodcast.com/support. Thank you all for listening, and we'll see you again next week.
Do I got it? I got it! Nearly hit myself in the face with my microphone. Quit goofing off, Daryl.
Me goof? Surely you must be joking.
I'm not, and don't call me Shirley.
That right there was a joke.
Today on Alt Mode, Daryl tells a joke.
Prepare yourselves to laugh.
Ha ha. Ha ha.